Ugh. Can you guys guess what this bag of fabric weighs? If you're interested in finding out what's inside, how much it weighs, and what I plan to do with all of this fabric, then please keep on watching. Hey Stitchers, your girl Kris here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel on social, where it's totally cool to be obsessed with sewing. So for today's video, I have something really exciting to share with you, and that is fabric. So regrettably, I did have to travel earlier this year for medical reasons. However, in order to make the best of that situation, I was sure to go ahead and visit the fabric store and picked up some amazing goodies. And that is what I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video. So, given the size of this bag, I'm sure this video is going to be a little bit longer than usual. So be sure to go ahead and grab yourself some biscuits and some tea and sit with me as we sift through all of this fabric. Alright guys, so as I said, I did have to travel quite recently for medical reasons. And I had the opportunity to visit a couple Caribbean islands, one of which was Barbados. Now, whilst I was in Barbados, I was sure to hit up Abed's, which is the island's biggest fabric chain, and man, did I have an exciting time. In fact, I enjoyed my first trip so much that I went back a second time, and both times I visited the store, I went with two Sew-sistahs. So on the first occasion, I went with Carol of @Sews over on Instagram. And the second time I went with Abigail, also over there on Instagram. I'll be sure to go ahead and drop their handles in, just in case you're interested to check out their sewing. Then you can head on over to Instagram and see the amazing work that they both produce. Now, I've known these two ladies for a long time. And when I say known, I mean known via social media. But we have never met in person before this trip. And it was really amazing to get to catch up with them in person and to put a face to a face in reality. So I'll go ahead and pop in some quick clips just so you can see how our day of shopping went. So of course you don't come all the way to Barbados and not meet your Sew-sister. This is Carol. Hey. We have been Insta friends for forever, and finally I've gotten a chance to put a face to a face. But she is a terrible enabler, you guys. Have you seen my fabric pics? Like, have you guys seen it? I'm about to be broke and I won't be able to eat for the rest of my time here, but I have lots of things to sew when I get home. All right, folks, so these are my pickings, and I think I've gone batshit crazy. All right, folks, I'm back in Abed's again, but today I've got a different enabler. Say hello to Abby. I could not come to Barbados and not meet Abby. So we're back in the fabric store, and I think I might have a little bit of room for a couple other pieces of fabric. So we're gonna see what's happening today in Abed's. Y'all, look at this pink peak. Oh my God. These are my selections for today's haul. Most black and white, but just a little bit of color. So we are excited about being in Abed's. Abby is not impressed, but Miss King is very impressed because she's made her company lots of money off me today. So, all right, folks, can you tell that I had a ball shopping at Abed's? The first day, it was amazing with Carol. She is a huge enabler. I'm telling you, I did not intend to buy all of that fabric, but she kept on pointing out the good stuff to me, and I could not resist but picking it up. The second time I went back with Abby, Carol warned me, girl, you have to get all of this fabric home. And still, I did have to pick up a couple more treasured pieces from Abed's, and that is what is in this bag. Now, I told you to grab some biscuits and some tea. I have also grabbed some tea because I know my throat is going to get dry from all of this talking. And so, without further ado, let's delve into my bag of fabric. So the first fabric I wanted to share with you is this one right here. And you notice that it is just a piece of fabric, and that is because I recently cut out a swimsuit from this fabric. This hole, however, you guys, was included in my fabric when I bought it, but I didn't notice it until I brought it home. Truth be told though, this fabric was in the remnant bin, and so I couldn't be too upset that there was a hole in my fabric. I did have enough to manage to cut out my swimsuit, both the main and the lining, and I still have this much left over. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the rest of this fabric. Perhaps I can use it to line another swimsuit, but the swimsuit that I have cut out is well on the way. But you guys, I ran out of swimsuit elastic. No, I had bought some swimsuit elastic, I think, on some other trip I made to America, but I only bought one package because I was so oblivious to swimsuit making. Now, I started constructing my swimsuit from this fabric, and you guys, I don't have enough. So at the moment, the project with this fabric is on hold. Now, it does have some good stretch. I think this was a lycra, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I don't have too much experience when it comes to knit and knit fabrics, but if my memory serves me correct, that is what this one is. So it has a great stretch along the crosswise grain, and it does have some stretch along the grain line, which I think makes it perfect for swimsuit making. So fabric number 1. Fabrics 2, 3, and 4. I bought these fabrics together in order to make the shirt that I'm sure you can see on the dress form right behind me. Now, I'm not going to share the completed project with you in full. I'm going to go ahead and do a full review on what's on my dress form right now. But in the meantime, I'll share with you the fabrics. So I bought 3 cotton fabrics, just like this. I'm not going to open them all the way up because I have already cut them and I tried my best to fold them with some sort of order. But I'm sure that you can still see them if I hold them up. So there's this cotton fabric. I bought it also in green and also in blue. And I got 1 yard of each of these fabrics because I had in mind to do a color blocked shirt with this striped fabric. It was something that I had seen very loosely on Pinterest as my inspiration, but in that picture, they had used green, blue, and orange. Now, you guys, I hardly ever wear orange because it's not one of my colors. And so I bought the colors that I thought fit nicely with my color card and therefore would be likely to complement your girl very nicely. So stay tuned for the project that I made with this cotton fabric. All right, you guys, the next piece of fabric in my bag is this PK knit fabric. You guys, I fell in love with this color the moment that I saw it. Again, it is a PK knit, which means it does have some stretch. It has some stretch along the crosswise and a little bit of stretch along the grain line. But you guys, it was the color of this fabric. Let me turn it around so you can see the texture. It was the color of this fabric that had me in a chokehold. Now, when I saw it, I immediately thought of making a color block dress. Yes, you guys, again, another color blocked project with this color and this baby right here. Now, this is also a PK knit, but this is in like a neon pink kind of color. And I thought that they paired beautifully together. Now, I did get, I think, 1.5 of the pink, and I think I got 3 yards of the chartreuse green color. And that is because, in addition to making my color block dress, I thought I might want to make something else out of this fabric. Now, I don't have a lot of this color in my wardrobe, but this color does appear on my color card, and so I want to embrace it a little bit more in my wardrobe. And as I said, I was just so in love with the texture and the color of this fabric that I whipped myself up 3 yards of fabric. So what do you guys think about this color pairing? Do you think that this will make a nice, bold, and fun summer dress? Please let me know down in the comment section if you're feeling this color combination. Now, the next piece of fabric in my bag is this one. Oh goodness, you guys, look at this gorgeous, gorgeous knit fabric. Again, another piece of knit. I know, for somebody who never sews knit fabrics, I sure as hell picked up quite a few pieces. There was something about this color combination and, of course, the design of this fabric that spoke to me. It sort of reminded me of a sort of animal print fabric, and you guys already know that I am pretty obsessed with animal prints. I love animal prints. I have had to stay away from the conventional animal print fabrics just because those colors don't work for me. So when I come across an animal print looking fabric in colors that complement my color palette, then it's almost a done deal. And I loved with this one. Now, I think this might be a sweater knit or something of the sort. It is a little bit loose weave, I think, and it does have great stretch. And I thought I maybe wanted to make a cardigan out of this fabric. I thought maybe the Marlowe cardigan by True Bias, or perhaps I might even venture out and make a dress with this fabric. Now, I know Mimi G makes some gorgeous knit dresses, and so I'll probably go ahead and run through her Instagram account to see if I can find any inspiration for this fantastic knit fabric. Did I mention that I have laundered all of my fabrics? And so, I can smell the downy pebbles that I put in the wash, and so good, you guys, so good. Now, on a side, if you are not pre-washing your fabrics, please, please, please consider doing so. You have no idea where your fabric has been before it ends up in your fabric stash. You don't know if a rat peed on your fabric. You don't know what dyes are included in your fabric. You don't know where it's stored. And so my recommendation to you, if you don't pre-wash, please consider doing it before using and handling your fabrics. All right, so my next fabric is this one. This, you guys, is a double gauze, and it is an embroidered gauze. So it does have, I'm pretty sure you won't be able to see it, but it does have some embroidery on this gauze. And I just thought that this would make for a nice staple in my wardrobe. Now, I don't have a lot of solid colors in my wardrobe. I tend to gravitate to a lot of print fabrics, but when I came across this one that has both the embroidery on it and the texture from the double gauze, I could not resist. Now, I made one dress before using double gauze, and I fell in love with it. It was a hack of McCall's 7543, and I'll pop the picture in right here so you can see what I'm talking about. And I just loved how that fabric felt on my body, how it looked, and how it moved. Even though it is a cotton, it just draped so nicely on me. Like, it has this kind of funny sort of characteristic in that it is not drapey like a rayon fabric, but it doesn't stick out and give you like that sort of tent shape. And I don't think I'm describing it very well, but hopefully when you see my picture, you can sort of identify what I'm talking about. But since making that dress, double gauze has become my friend, and I was happy to pick up 3 yards of this fabric in this black double gauze. Now, I'm not sure what this one will become just yet. Probably is going to become a loose flowing dress. From my experience and from my reading and research and that sort of thing, double gauze does sort of stretch a little bit. So you probably want to avoid making anything too structured with it. As I said, my first dress was a 7543 hack, and it was loose and flowy and floaty. So I'll have to find myself another loose fitting pattern that I think will complement this fabric quite nicely. Now, in addition to the black double gauze, I did also get 3 pieces. Let's see if we can find them in my bag. One in this sort of dusty pink sort of color, another in this sort of mauve purplish type of color, and the third in this bright pink color. And can you guess, you guys, what I plan to do with these fabrics? Color blocking, duh! Listen, I just thought that these fabrics paired so nicely together, and so I wanted to do a tiered color blocked dress. Now I'm thinking of starting the first tier in the lighter color, the middle tier in the mauve color, and then the third tier in this bright pink color. Now, whereas I haven't decided yet what pattern I want to use for this fabric, I definitely do know that this is going to be a color blocked dress. Now, I only got 1 yard of each of these colors, and then I got 1.5 yards of this pink, just because I think that my third tier will need much more width because it needs to be more gathered. So as you go down the body line, your tiers tend to increase in size and length. And so I got just a little bit more of this pink fabric than I did for these two. But again, these are also double gauze, and I know they will make for a nice, cool, fun, and floaty summer dress. All right, so next up in my bag of goodies is this jersey knit right here. You guys, I had no intention of buying this fabric, but Abby and I were standing at the cutting table, and somebody else brought a piece of this fabric to the table, and we both fell in love with it. And I found out once I touched it that this is quite a substantial knit, in that it's not like the slinky type knit, but this one has a little bit more structure, and I fell in love with the color of it. Again, I have no idea what I'm going to make with this fabric because I don't have a lot of knit patterns in my mind. I'm going to have to go and do some research, but there was something about it that just was so beautiful, and I just loved how substantial it was. Now, it does have amazing stretch and what seems to be good recovery. I think that's what you guys call it, because it does snap back quite nicely. And so I'm thinking that this would make for a great skirt or maybe a great dress. Again, it's in a solid purple. I hardly ever buy solids, but this purple was stunning. It's on my color card. Purple is my favorite color, and this fabric is just delightful. So we'll see what this fabric ends up becoming. Now, digging back into my bag of goodies, more knit fabrics. You guys, I was clearly on a roll, and I'm going to push myself this year to sew up more knit fabrics. Now, I have been sewing for 6 years, but I do gravitate more to woven fabric substrates. I know some people think sewing with knits is easier, but I just started learning to sew with woven fabrics, and I am just so unfamiliar with knit fabrics. But this year, I am planning to push myself a little bit more out of my comfort zone. But you guys, I could not resist this one. Whew, look at this fabric. So this one has quite a bit more drape and is much slinkier than the purple piece that I showed you just now. And I think this is some sort of jersey knit, but again, I'm not quite sure. But it was the print of this fabric that I fell in love with. It seems to be like a mashup of animal print fabrics, and it was in black and white. Perfect combination for your girl. And so I picked up 3 yards, I think, of this one. Ooh la la. Now, a lot of people have been making the V2000, that is the Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress pattern, and I think that this fabric will be gorgeous in that pattern. Do I own this pattern? No, I do not. I just could not justify buying it for like 25 or 30 US on the Simplicity website. And I don't live in a place where I can run out to Joann's and pick it up, and so I have not added that pattern to my stash. Can that change? Perhaps. Maybe I might be swayed into buying that pattern. For now, I have not. But I just think that this fabric would be gorgeous in that wrap dress. So your girl might just have to bite the bullet and pick that pattern up. If not, I'm sure I can find some other pattern that will look gorgeous in this knit fabric. So what do you guys think of this fabric? Is anyone else out there a lover of animal print fabrics? Because whew, I find them so hard to resist. Whew, you guys, it is hot. Oh my goodness. But I can't put my fan on because the noise from the fan will affect the quality of the audio in this video. And so I am roasting, you guys. I am roasting. However, let's continue with what's in my bag. So, you guys, another amazing fabric. Now, I have folded this fabric so that the wrong side shows out. So look how gorgeous it is on the wrong side. And then just close your eyes with me for a minute and imagine how beautiful this must look on the right side. All right, go ahead and open your eyes and look at this gorgeous rayon fabric. Listen, I am in love with this fabric. The colors, the color combination, the drape, the feel of it. Oh, this fabric is amazing. And when I first saw it, for some reason, the Sicily slip dress came to mind. Now, I have never made this pattern, but I do have it in my stash. And I have recently seen my girl Diana and Johanna do a live on TikTok featuring the Sicily slip dress. And I just think that this fabric right here will make for the most amazing slip dress. And so I might go ahead and make the Sicily slip dress out of this. Now, please don't hold me to any of the ideas that I'm expressing in this video. If you've been here long enough, then you know that my mind is subject to change quite quickly. And so for now, I think this is going to be a Sicily slip dress, but that's subject to change in case I come across something else that speaks louder volumes to me for this fabric. I also picked up this gorgeous fabric right here. Again, I folded it with the wrong side facing up. So now behold this fabric. Whew, my goodness. Look at the movement and the drape of this one. I can let you know that this one is sort of see-through. I'm not sure if you can see my hand through the fabric, but I can definitely see my camera and my ring light quite easily through the fabric. And so I know whatever I make with this will either have to be lined or it will have to be like a blouse or something that I don't mind showing some skin underneath. Now, I think I only got 2 yards of this one because my initial idea was to make a blouse of some sort. I have not settled on the pattern just yet, but I do think that this will make for something really, really chic. Now, I loved the color combinations in this fabric. These greens and these blue, these jewel tones really complement my skin tone. Let's hold it up so that you guys can see. And I also loved the pop of purple and the chartreuse green in this fabric. So I'm going to give this fabric a little time to speak to me a little bit more clearly on what it wants to become. If you guys have any suggestions of what I should do with this fabric, again, I think I only got 2 yards, or maybe it was 2.5 yards. I do think that it is 56 or 60 inches wide. I do think it's pretty wide. So if you have any suggestions on what this fabric should become, then be sure to drop me a comment down below. All right, let's keep on digging. I also picked up these two fabrics. I think these were stretch twill fabrics, if I'm not mistaken. And I really liked that they came with the opposing colorways. So one is white with black and one is black with white. Now, I can't go wrong with black and white, you guys. Black is my signature color, and this will make something perfect for work. I have not quite decided what pattern I want to make with this one, but I thought that I could have the skirt portion of my dress and then perhaps the top portion of my dress like this in this sort of print matching, or perhaps even I should make separates, perhaps a skirt with the black with the white and then a top with the white with the black. Now, this, as I said, is a stretch twill, and so it doesn't have too much drape. It doesn't really have much drape. You can see how the fabric is sort of just falling in on itself. It does have a slight stretch along the crosswise grain, which I think will make for a comfortable skirt, as I said, if I choose to go with the separates option. So what do you guys think? Should I make a dress out of this combination, or do you think it's better to make separates, a skirt, and some sort of top with this fabric? Digging continues. This rayon fabric, I spotted it across the room and I had to have it. Oh, folks, this like tomato red color with the splashes of mint and white and black, whew, I am here for this. And I live for a large scale floral print fabric. Even though I don't have a lot of them in my wardrobe, it is a type of pattern that I've always been wildly attracted to. And I'm happy now to have this fantastic fabric in my wardrobe. Now, when I picked it up, for some reason, I thought about the Southport dress by True Bias. Now, it is another pattern that I have had in my pattern stash for ages, but have never made up. But for some reason, as I was buying this fabric, that is the pattern that came to mind. Now, you might notice that this fabric has a little bit of orange in it, but I'm not bothered too much. It's just a little bit in the grand scheme of things. And I really think that the red and the blues stand out much more significantly for me. And of course, those two colors are in my palette, along with the pinks and the black and the white. And so this one was a definite go for me. So as I said, I'm thinking about the True Bias Southport dress, but again, that might change in the future. But whew, can we have a round of applause for this gorgeous floral fabric? Now, I forgot to mention, I think I got 3 yards of this one, which will be more than enough, in my opinion, to make myself a stunning dress. All right, so I'm looking at this pile of fabric that I have just strewn across the floor, and I'm not looking forward to folding it all back up. So maybe this wasn't the best idea, but I needed to show you guys my fabric. So let's just keep going. Dum dee dee dum dum dum. Whew, you guys. Wrong side of fabric Can you see how amazing that is? Wait for it. Right side of fabric. This fabric is everything, like everything and then some. I love this fabric. Does it have orange in it? Yes, yes, it does. Does orange complement me? Perhaps not the most flattering, but with that red and those purples, you better believe your girl will absolutely be rocking this fabric. I just couldn't leave it in the store, you guys. It is such a beautiful combination of colors, and I really love like this abstract print of this fabric. Now, this of course could make another gorgeous Sicily slip dress, so perhaps I might make it out of this fabric instead of the one I showed you before. But I'm sure there are many, many, many other patterns out there that would look gorgeous made up in this fabric. Now, I do believe it's going to take me a while to cut into this fabric. There are just some fabrics that you add to your stash that you just don't cut into, at least not right away. And that is because they are so special that they need to speak to you. Like me and this fabric will need to be having some serious conversation before I cut into it. Now, I think I also got 3 yards of it. I think this one was described as a bubble crepe, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been. I don't think this one was described as a rayon. I think this one was described as a bubble crepe, but it does have gorgeous drape to it. It feels lovely against my skin, nice and soft, and it is vibrant as hell. And this fabric has already been pre-washed. Now it is slipping off my knees, so I know that this fabric is going to be a to work with. And so I'm going to spray starch this baby to death while I am pre-pressing it before I cut it out. But when it is made up, I know whatever this garment becomes, I'm going to love it. Now, if you have any suggestions, you guys, I'm always open to your suggestions. Then drop them in the comment box down below. Whew. Are we still going? Are we still going? All right. Disclaimer. There is a lot of orange in this fabric, but I bought it anyway because this blue is in my color palette. These pinks and purples are in my color palette, and I fell in love with this fabric. I had to have it. You guys, be honest. Could you leave this in the shop? Could you really leave this fabric in a shop? Now, if your answer is no, then of course we can be friends because I could not leave this fabric in the shop. I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, it sort of gives me that sort of animal print, like an abstract animal print sort of effect. And it is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Now, I think I only got 2 yards of this one, or perhaps 2.5 yards, because my initial thought was maybe to make a nice blouse out of it, or maybe even try to make a wrap skirt. I wonder if I have enough to make a wrap skirt. Actually, the more I think about it and look at this fabric, I'm thinking it would make for a beautiful skirt. And that means that so much of this orange won't be too close to my face. And so I can pair it with the pinks and purples and blacks that are already in my wardrobe. And can we talk about this amazing sort of blue color? This cobalt sort of blue. Whoo, you guys, gorgeous. Ugh, I had to have it. All right, we're making some headway. So let's pull out this one right here. Now, funny story. I saw this fabric in the store and I loved it. I really loved it. And I couldn't figure out why, aside from the fact that it is in my colors and aside from the fact that, again, it gives off this sort of abstract animal print vibe. There was something else. There was some other reason I was attracted to this fabric. Can you guess what that was? Well, you guys, it turns out that I have a pair of pajamas in this fabric. Yes, you heard me correctly, pajamas. Now it is in a jersey, I think it is. I think the substrate is quite different. It does have stretch, so I know it is a knit fabric of sort. This one has 0 stretch, and I think this one is a rayon or silk. Was it a silk or was it a rayon? I think it might have been or maybe it was a bubble crepe, because I can feel a little bit of texture in this fabric. Oh my goodness, you guys, I need to do better with learning my fabrics. And perhaps I should have made better notes in the store of what each fabric was labeled as, but I didn't. I was just too excited about grabbing up these beauties to pay too much attention to what they actually are. I know it's a woven fabric. I can tell that it has a sheen on one side and is flat on the other side. And I'll be able to figure it out at some point close enough what this fabric is, or at least what I can use it for. So again, as I said, I do own a pair of pajamas in this fabric, and I was like, oh, that is why I love this fabric so much. So again, it has lots of movement. I think it would be very swishy and floaty and nice. Look at that, you guys. Look at that. Woo. Now, question is, should I make a dress as usual, or should I go ahead and try my hand at separates? Now, I really think that this would make for a cute set, like a summer set, maybe some shorts and like a button-down shirt, giving off that sort of rich auntie aesthetic. But you guys, I have just not cracked the code to pant fitting. And it's not that I haven't tried, because I have tried, and I have tried several times. And every time I give it a go, I just end up more and more frustrated. And every year I said, this is a year that I'm going to crack pant fitting, but I haven't yet. And so perhaps I might put this one up in my stash just for a little bit longer until I can figure out how to get a pair of pants to fit my body in the way that I will feel comfortable wearing them out. I think so far I've probably made 1 or 2 pairs of pants that was sort of okay, and they were both Mimi G. Is it 9114? I'm not sure if that number is correct. I'll go ahead and see if I can find any pictures of them and the corresponding pattern. If I can, then I'll pop it in here so that you guys can see. But for some reason, I just think that this will make for a marvelous, like, rich auntie sort of summer set. And so perhaps this one will end up on the back burner just for a little while. Just a couple pieces left to share with you. Now this one, more knit, you guys. This one is a rib knit, again in an animal print, and I really liked this one. When I bought this one, I thought about the True Bias Nico, is it the Nico? I think it's called the Nico dress. And I know I've seen a lot of versions of that dress made up in rib knit fabrics, and I thought that this one would be perfect for that pattern. Alternatively, I have made the Stay Stitch Pattern Company Lola dress. That's it, the Lola dress. I've made the Lola dress, and I have made a couple fit adjustments to that dress. And so perhaps maybe I might consider making the Lola dress out of this one. Now, this rib knit has a lot of stretch. It doesn't have a lot of recovery, at least not like that purple solid knit one that I showed you earlier, but I still think that this will make for a gorgeous Lola. Now I'll have to go ahead and check the stretch percentage. I think that's what it's called, just to see if this has enough stretch for that pattern. But I loved it, and I've added it to my stash. So, right, I think that was the last knit fabric. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4 more pieces that I have to share with you, so we're almost at the end. Now this one, you guys, isn't this just beautiful? Like, don't you dare disagree with me. This fabric is amazing. I loved the color combinations in this fabric. I thought it was very unusual, with this sort of lime green and this sort of lavender-like color, both of which appear on my color card, and I love it. Now, this is one of those substantial rayons. It feels nice and soft against my hand. I think it is, was this like a twill rayon or something like that? Because it does look like it has like a twill weave. At least I think that's a twill weave. But whatever it is, you guys, I loved it, and now I own it. Now, I think that this one will make for a great shirt dress, just because it does have quite a bit of substance to it, but it is still soft. And so I think that for things like maybe collars and cuffs once interface, that this fabric will hold up quite nicely. And so perhaps this is destined to become a shirt dress. But it was just the print and the colors of this one that did it for me. Again, another sort of animal print fabric. This one looks more like a zebra print, but whatever it is, you guys, I loved it. I own it. And so this one has been added to my stash. So I have 3 more goodies in my bag, and these 3 fabrics were gifted to me by Carol. Now, 2 of them she had bought for me a while back and was meant to post them, but she just couldn't get around to it, which is completely fine. She's a very busy woman and I understand. And I'm so grateful that I was able to pick them up on my trip. The third piece, we actually spotted it in store and I loved it. And she was with me and she was like, I'm going to get you this piece of fabric. So she did. So let's share with you now my gifted pieces of fabric. So the first one is this one. Wrong side, you guys. Look how gorgeous it is on the wrong side. Now let's take a look at the right side. Woo! Folks, let's be real. Isn't this baby gorgeous? Now you can tell that Carol and I are friends because she is well acquainted with my color palette. She hit the mark, you guys, on this one. These beautiful jewel tones are perfect for a twilight winter such as myself. And oh, I have no idea what I'm going to make with this fabric. Obviously, this is going to be a special piece. It was gifted to me, and I really don't want to muck up this piece of fabric. So I'm going to have to think long and hard about what I want to make with this one. But she is gorgeous, and I love her. Like, Now, she also got me this one. All right. I mean, could you go wrong with this? Like, oh my goodness, so many gorgeous pieces of fabric. And again, lots of these colors are my colors. I don't know what I'm going to make with this one as well. Again, for the same reason, I don't want to muck it up, but I really like this fabric. And for the final piece, you guys, this one. Now, this one does have colors in it that are not in my color palette. We knew it was not in my color palette when we bought this fabric, but I was really attracted to this sort of print on this fabric. So it is a striped fabric, but the stripes are not like, what do you call it? When they're all like the same size and shape. Oh, I can't remember the name for it right now, but you guys get the point. That is not what this is. These stripes are sort of different shapes, different sizes, and I love that it is a vertical stripe. So this is the selvage edge right here. And so the grain line is running vertically. And so these stripes are vertical. And something about this fabric really appealed to me. Now it is on a navy blue background. And navy blue is one of my colors. But a lot of the stripes are not in my colors. But you can be sure I am going to make this fabric work for me. Now, I had seen Mimi G make up a maxi length shirt dress. I don't know what the number is. I'll go ahead and see if I can find it on her Instagram, and if I can, I'll share it with you. It might have been one of her older simplicity patterns, and for some reason, that's what first came to mind when I saw this fabric. Alternatively, perhaps I'll go ahead and make some sort of skirt or something. But truth be told, I think this one might be better suited as a dress. No, it does have some substance to it. It has just a little bit of drape, but I feel like this will make up a gorgeous dress. So I'm going to give a think about this one as well. Again, I sound like a stock record, but if you guys have any suggestions for this fabric or any of the fabrics that I've shared with you in this video, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I will be sure to read them, research the patterns that you suggest, and decide what these fabrics will become. Now, this, you guys, was my last fabric in my goodie bag. So that was a lot of fabric, but I am super pleased with all of the pieces that I'm adding to my stash. And I really don't want to mess up any of these fabrics. Now, when I first started sewing, I used to have a hard time pairing fabric to pattern, but I do think I have come a very long way in that regard. And in fact, I often get compliments over on the Facebook groups that I am in that my pattern and fabric pairings are really good. And so I'm thinking about doing a video here on this channel about how to choose the right fabric for a particular pattern. Now I'm going to give it some more thought, but if that is something that you guys might be interested in seeing, then please be sure to let me know so that I can go ahead and record that video for you. Now that is all I needed to share with you guys today. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed my fabrics, be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up and drop me comments down below and let me know what any of these babies should become. Now, if you have gotten this far into this video, and if you have, it means that you must really love me, because I'm pretty sure that this video is a long video. But if you have made it this far and you're not yet a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Subscriptions cost you absolutely nothing, but they do guarantee you a spot right here in my sewing family here on YouTube. So go ahead, you guys, press it, press that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on. So that is all I have to share with you guys today. Oh, I forgot to share with you how much my bag of fabric weighed. You guys, this bag of fabric weighed in at a whopping 25.8 pounds. You guys, 25.8 pounds of gloriousness. So until next time, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.